Hello and welcome to the Tea in Tokyo podcast. My name is Somya.
And I'm Ellie.
And what do we do this week, Ellie?
So this week we start up with a coronavirus in Japan update. We then talk about how we visited a new area called Miyudo, and we went on a picnic to Yogogi Park.
Yep, all that and slightly more coming up now. We'll start off by talking about coronavirus again.
Why?
Because now I've taken it even more seriously because the NBA officially has it.
Yeah.
So it was actually really funny. So we're recording this on Thursday morning. So the NBA literally just suspended the season probably about 30 minutes ago. And it was really funny because there was this player, Rudy Gobert, who had a couple of days ago, instead of practicing in their normal facilities to make it safer, they practiced in a smaller facility, I think, without the media present. And then later on in the day when he was addressing the media, as a joke, he touched all the microphones as he left to say haha, yeah guys, I have coronavirus, let me just touch everything, how funny would that be? And now today it turns out he does have coronavirus, and because of him the game was cancelled and the entire NBA season has been suspended. So I'm officially taking this super seriously now because of this.
Well, the reason I was taking it seriously is because this morning the World Health Organization announced that it was a pandemic.
Yeah, that too. So, I wonder what the criteria is for a pandemic.
I think they just said that the main reason is it's still the exact same expectation of death toll and everything, but it's more just that other countries weren't taking it seriously enough. So it's almost as a way to encourage people to take it seriously, because the mass spread of it across different countries is unexpected because people weren't taking it seriously, like that guy you just spoke about.
Yeah, I think it's 140 countries have it now or something. But yeah, I reckon people will start taking it seriously now because not only is the NBA suspended, but Tom Hanks got it as well.
Yeah, he's filming in Australia apparently.
I was listening.
Him and his wife, Rita.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of things on Twitter where people were actually saying that, this is what it took for people to take it super seriously, for Tom Hanks to get it and for the NBA to be suspended.
Maybe for people in your circles. For someone in my circles, who cares about the NBA? But for me, it was definitely the World Health Organization.
But for an entire, a huge, sports organization to be closed.
Yeah. Let's hope our jobs don't get cancelled,
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking yesterday that we might not be going to work again for another 2 weeks, right?
Well, that's just more we're just hoping. We were not jumping ahead of ourselves, we were hanging out with some people from work yesterday, and there was a lot of rumour going around that our job, our company apparently follows what the other big companies do. And lots of other big companies like Line and stuff have suspended work for a further week or two. So people sort of speculating.
Line as in the app?
Yeah, Line as in the messaging app, which is a popular messaging app in Japan, kind of like WhatsApp. Line has suspended work for another couple of weeks. So everyone was thinking that might indicate that our company might do the same.
Yeah, I hope we do. And I have a feeling because people were saying that we might not get paid, but I reckon they will pay us just because it's everybody and they don't want to lose people.
I don't know, we are just contractors. There's no obligation for them to pay us. We're not doing the work.
Yeah, there isn't, but that's the smartest option for them to pay us. But they'll probably tell us something if it extends past that 1 month, that maybe we'll only get paid half or something like that.
Or maybe they'll reduce the extra payment this time round.
Yeah, maybe. Although with such short notice, I don't know if they'll do that, to be honest.
Well, legally, I'm pretty sure they're only required to pay 65% of your normal wage. And they're currently technically paying just an average of what you'd normally get. So maybe they'd reduce it down to 65% of the normal.
Yeah, true, maybe. Well, is that a legal thing in Japan, though?
Yeah, in Japan. That's the law.
Okay.
But that's for normal schools. That doesn't apply to ours because we're contractors. So
right.
Maybe they'll... Although I think it's one of those things where it's kind of like a legal loophole sort of confused area. They're not quite sure if it would apply to us or not. You could probably argue that it should if you're working a set amount of hours. If you worked the same hours every day for 2 years, you could argue that they have you as a full-time employee.
Yeah. Man, we really chose the worst time to come to Japan, it turns out.
Nah, it's great.
or maybe the best.
It's so chill because we can just we've had time to chill out, we can hang out with friends. I mean, we don't have enough money to properly chill out, but we can still enjoy ourselves a bit more.
We were wondering how many people we've come into contact with that might have had coronavirus.
Because, Japan has really low numbers, but that's because the government's not really testing for it. So we've probably come into contact with lots of people who have it.
It could be that, although there are some countries, I heard Singapore and Hong Kong are two countries where the rate is Like every other country has the exact same rate basically, where it's going up like 33% every day. But in Singapore and Hong Kong, it's like reducing quite a lot. And in Japan it is as well, but yeah. But with Japan, they're not too sure if that's because if it's actually reducing or because they're just not testing anybody.
Because they're like putting their head in the sand and being like, I can't hear you.
Apparently they've tested like 10,000 people though, which actually come to think about it, that's not that many. Is it?
No, it's a pretty small amount. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just going to have to progress naturally. Obviously, there's preventative measures like our work closing for 2 weeks to try like get people off the streets and stop people from being in contact with each other. But like, it's one of those things where it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yeah. Like isolation is like the only thing you can really do.
Yeah.
I was listening. There's like a really really good podcast which I'd recommend everyone listen to. The Joe Rogan podcast, the most recent one was with like a expert in epidemiology. Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good podcast. And he said, because I love it when scientists give you the whole truth instead of like, whenever you read an article or something, there'll always be a little bit of junk science in there just because like they're not scientists obviously, so they don't know the full truth.
Well, like the journalists are basing it, they're not actually scientists themselves because it's the journalist writing it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or they've spoken to scientists and scientists have told them like the easy answer without going
they've dumbed
in
it
depth.
down.
Yeah, they've dumbed it down for them. But in this interview, he didn't really dumb it down, which was good. And he was talking about how like surgical masks are pretty pointless. They're only meant so that surgeons don't contaminate the patient when they're working on them.
Yeah.
He also said the whole thing of not touching your face. There isn't really much evidence that it goes through your face.
Is there more about touching your mouth and stuff? Because if your hand touched something and got the virus in your hand, and then you touch your mouth, then you're like, consuming the virus.
I don't know about that. He said more than that, it's actually the ducts that you have in your eyes.
Also, if you touch your eyes. Oh, I touch my eyes a lot.
But the thing is, he said even that, there's not enough studies done on that yet. So even that, they don't know really. So like that's something that I've heard people talking about a lot. And it turns out, well, actually, the science on that isn't even that clear. And then, yeah, washing your hands is great. But for this, it doesn't actually help that much, washing your hands. But he said, obviously, do that anyway, because that's just a general good thing to do. It's
going to help your health help your health in general.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, it might help slightly, but it's going to help your health in general, even if it doesn't help you that much here.
Yeah.
And he also said that when like a lot of people are saying they're not taking it, like it's not that big of a deal because not that many people have it. That it's still like literally early days, like it's still at the very beginning of the pandemic. At the beginning of March, 0 people in the US had it, and now over 1,000 people have it. Apparently, it doubles every 4 days.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said he wouldn't be surprised if like millions of people had it by the end of the year. And also the other thing is a lot of people saying that in summer. Well, actually, this is something that Donald Trump said.
Yeah, but would you really take your science advice from him?
Well, a lot of people do, I think. And he said that like when it hits, right now it's winter. As soon as summer hits, then it will kill the virus, and then you don't have to worry. Because apparently, I think SARS maybe.
Yeah, but what happened is then when after summer it came back worse than before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that does happen. And also, there's no evidence that this virus would actually do that. Like, it's not going to it's not hot enough for it to kill or even weaken the virus in any way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could have said some of that stuff a little bit wrong, so I would recommend you listen to that podcast. But yeah, it was definitely interesting.
I think the main advice to give people would be, right, do your evidence and make sure it's from, like, reliable sources. Like, make sure it's from an actual, like, epidemiologist rather than reality TV stars, you want to actually get your information from reliable sources who know what they're talking about, who have studied it for years.
Like, and that actually reminded me.
Not from us.
Yeah, something that I wanted to mention last week, but I didn't have time, was there's a guy at my work who is like a big like vitamin C guy. He's one of those people who thinks that vitamin C cures everything. To the point where like he brought chocolates in at work, which was very nice for everyone to share. But then he had a note with it being like, oh, hey guys, coronavirus is really bad. Remember that the only thing that will really protect you is vitamin C. He was like, take vitamin C. Don't worry about all the other stuff in the pharmacies. And then I was like sitting next to his booth at work, and I noticed that he like has these pamphlets, or he'll have like vitamin C on his desk, so that when the students come in, they like ask him about it, or he can be like, oh hey, have you ever seen this before?
For a start, you normally just have like literally like maybe your drink bottle and your piece of paper in front of you.
Yeah, but then he has these vitamin C things, and I heard him just talking to like all these students. He'd be like, "Hey guys, listen, take vitamin C. You know, this is the way to protect yourself from coronavirus." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Man, this is dangerous. Like, what the hell is this guy doing?"
It's like Jude Law's character in Contagion.
Yeah, like
promoting some like
exactly
false.
Surely this is illegal.
Yeah.
And also, I was like, "Man, what a douchebag, honestly."
But the thing is, he probably genuinely believes it.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. And he has like a website that he like wrote on the piece of paper as well. We went to the website. Oh man, it was such a crackable website. Yeah. It was like there was no design to that website at all. Everyone who can design a website decided, I'm not touching this website because there's so much misinformation here. And then it's really funny. There's like a quote at the very top of the website. It's from like someone who has used the website. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like, "Hey guys, everything on this website is totally true. Totally. It is totally true. Believe it. I can't believe it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally
it's
true.
And he like just kept saying it, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things, right, where some people don't want to believe in modern medicine. They want to believe that they're the one unique person out there who's seen through the lies and
yeah, honestly,
is smarter than everyone else. Like,
it's ridiculous.
That weird. But I mean, because me and Somi then looked into how good vitamin C actually is, because that's something you always told, right, to have vitamin C to stop yourself from getting sick on the plane.
Yeah.
And we found this good. It's like a video by Vox that I'd recommend watching about how, while vitamin C is kind of good for you, the original claims about how good it was were actually false. So it's all based on like a lie or like a.
It's exactly like the MMR vaccine being like not working and stuff. Like the premise that it works on is bullshit to begin with. So.
And even the guy who wrote the book that made it famous, like made this idea famous, had said since, maybe someone should do some research on that, because he admitted that no one had done research on it, not he, like, his whole evidence was, I believe it was himself and his wife
exactly
took more vitamin C and then were like, hey, we didn't get sick this year, and that was all of the research.
Yeah, and on this bullshit website, the guy, like there's like a pseudo-scientist who's like in charge of the website, and he said that it worked for him, and it was the most ridiculous prescription that I've ever heard in my life. He took vitamin C every 6 minutes for 24 hours. Like on the dot every 6 minutes.
How did his pee not like crystallize?
I know, that's ridiculous.
When I used to work in clinical studies, I used to help, I used to recruit volunteers to take part in clinical studies to develop new medicines. I actually had a participant who took heaps of vitamin C because they were going on a flight, and then they couldn't take part in a study because they had to get surgery because their like urine crystallized inside of them.
Well, maybe that is what happened. Maybe he had like, it caused such a big other issue in his body that he thought, I'm not sick anymore because...
Yeah, because it turns out it was all
you're not
going to
complain about a cold if you're dying.
If you can't physically pee.
Yeah. Oh man, but that guy's stupid. I wonder what he's.
I think
I just couldn't believe
stupid is the wrong word. I'd say like misinformed and a little bit ignorant, and maybe a little bit willfully ignorant. Because I think in today's world you have to be a little bit willfully ignorant to be quite so dumb.
Yeah. But man, what the hell am I going to do for the next couple of months now that the NBA is suspended?
I told you need to go back and watch your all-time favourite games.
Yeah.
/ we're going to have a Twilight marathon, because this morning I was thinking about how terrible and great those movies were.
Yeah, true, you were.
Great, terrible movies.
Didn't you say that it turns out that the Endgame movie is just from Twilight?
So I was rewatching the final Twilight movie's final battle scene, which anyone who's ever seen it, spoilers if you're many years behind, there's like a massive battle that ends up just being like a vision of the future. But the scene where they all like run at each other across the field is exactly like the Avengers Endgame scene. So it turns out Twilight did it first, guys. You gotta.
Yeah, I've never actually seen that Twilight before.
Haven't you?
No, I've never seen like the last like however many. How many Twilight movies are there?
I think there's 4. Or maybe 5. I feel like the last one was broken into 2 parts.
I think I watched the first one, then I missed them, and then I watched the second to last one.
Me and my mum used to go with my friend Julia and her mum. Whenever one of those movies came out, we'd go together. It's like a mother-daughter bonding thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We all knew they were terrible, but we were also like, you know what, sometimes you need a little bit of terrible movies in your life.
Yeah, but maybe if we rewatch them, we'll have a greater respect for them now.
Oh, I doubt it. I'm sure they'll still be horrible, but, sometimes you got to do that to yourself.
True. Okay, so what did we actually do this week?
Yeah, so we didn't just complain about coronavirus all week. We visited a new area called, like, Miura.
Yeah, Miura, yeah.
And from there, we tried to find cherry blossoms. Kind of failed.
Yeah, that was like our main goal for going there. Because there was meant to be like a cherry bloom...
Blossom.
Was it like a festival or...?
Yeah, so me and Sumi got like a sponsored Facebook ad for it, and it said
yeah, that's
that it was
right,
early bloom, like the little known early blooming cherry blossoms, short ride from Tokyo, first few visitors get a free fan or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we went with a guy from my work who started at the same time as me and one of our other friends who we've done some other stuff with, and she bought her dog. It was the best dog ever. And
Yeah, that dog made me like dogs.
yeah, it was like a poodle, and it just liked being carried around, and it was really fluffy. Like, she hadn't groomed it, so it didn't look like what a poodle you'd expect a poodle to look like, all rounded.
She can put the dog in in her backpack. Like, how
that
ridiculous
dog
is that?
loved being in her backpack. Like, she'd never done it before until she met us there, because on the train you're meant to have your dog in like a crate. And so she tried putting him in a backpack the night before, and he loved it. He would just fall asleep the second he went into the backpack.
Yeah, like we went to a shop that you can bring your dogs into, and she put it in the bag.
And it was so happy.
Yeah, it was asleep and everything. That was hilarious.
But yeah, so we tried to find cherry blossoms,
Yeah.
and we were following where it said it was on the map, but I think we were in the wrong place, because we could, like,
I think so.
We found a couple of them, but the rest of them were not in bloom. Like, I think we might have missed them, or they hadn't bloomed yet.
Yeah, sometimes the maps here are so hard to read.
Because this wasn't a very busy area. This is like, what was it, like an hour and a half, 2 hours out of Tokyo?
Yeah.
And,
But we found we did find a couple, like a street where there were like kind of good cherry blossoms there.
Yeah.
But it was pretty crap. But there was like this nice little lake that we went down to, where to be honest, there wasn't actually that whole lot to do there. But we did see a cat that was like with a fisherman. It was like an old cat, and we don't know this for certain, but we're pretty sure that the cat has like this relationship with the human where the guy like fishes and then he gives a little bit of the fish to the cat.
Because you could tell from its appearance that the cat was feral, right?
Yeah.
But it was like sitting pretty, like maybe a meter away from the fisherman, just like staring really intently at him. And like, I think normally a feral cat wouldn't get that close to a person, but it obviously knew that this person...
Yeah.
Because the fisherman was just like ignoring him.
Yeah, and the cat was just waiting so patiently.
Yeah.
For the next fish to come out.
Yeah. So that was pretty cute.
Yeah, for
Pretty
sure.
exciting. And then we were like, you know what, we came all this way to this stupid area to see cherry blossoms that weren't there. We didn't get a free fan because we didn't know where we were meant to go to get it.
Yeah.
And so I looked up things to do in the area, and it said there was like this forest, I think it was like Kojima Forest, that was really highly recommended. So we went to where it said the forest was on the map. We caught a bus, went out to like the middle of nowhere, and it was like just farmland, houses and farmland. And
Yeah,
there
it was just farms. We could see trees, like we could see something that looked like a forest.
But not the entrance to it. Like the area it took us to was because the forest online clearly had like a nice walkway, like a wooden walkway through the area.
Mm-hmm.
But this was not an entry, it was just like the back end of the forest.
Yeah.
And it was the middle of nowhere, and some farmer was like watching us like, what are these foreigners doing on my farmland?
Yeah, they definitely don't have too many foreigners walking around there. But the one thing good about it was that we did see like some good views of Mt Fuji from there.
Yeah, it was like a surprisingly perfect view.
Yeah, for the first time ever, the clouds weren't in the way. It was super clear. So then our new plan was, instead of trying to find this forest, it was kind of just like, oh, let's try to find a better view of Mt Fuji.
So we were kind of like simultaneously searching for the forest entrance while looking for a better view of Mt Fuji. So we ended up going to this little like fishing village that we like walked down to.
Yeah, we didn't really know where we were going, but as we were walking, we just found this like wee little village by the water.
Yeah.
It looked really nice.
Because it had like this beautiful bay, so the water was completely flat because the bay was protecting it from any wind.
Yeah.
And there was just like little fishing boats everywhere, and it was like sunset, so the sky was like this beautiful like pink orange shade. And I don't know, it just was like, it was reflecting on the water. The clouds were like perfectly like lit up in the right shade.
Yeah, for sure. That was such a photogenic place.
Yeah.
It looked amazing.
So we went and we like walked on the wharf, and then like it was really cute because these two like tiny little kids were like just following us around everywhere, and then eventually some adults I think came out to make sure we weren't gonna like kidnap the kids.
Yeah.
And then they awkwardly just like walked along behind us while we like went onto the wharf, maybe to make sure we didn't steal a boat, I don't know, but like the kids didn't talk to us, they literally just like kind of followed us as we walked around the area. Like they were really young, like 4 years old or something.
It definitely reminded me of like, I've seen videos of people in like, they'll be in some small village in Africa where they'll walk through, and then all the villagers will come and just be like, oh my god, it's like foreigners.
Yeah,
like,
that's basically what happened, right?
Big deal. Yeah, it was kind of like that except with 2 little kids.
And then we went to, there was a nice shrine there, like a really cool shrine,
Yeah.
where they had like this village elder type person came out and was like telling us, like in Japanese, he was being like, come here, like motioning for us to follow him. So we went up to the shrine's like main part, and he showed us their like kan drums.
Oh, I was wondering what the hell that was. Like those like rocks.
Yeah, so it was like 2 rocks, and he like showed us and got us to do it with, if you grabbed another smaller rock and you banged the kan, or can, it made a sound that you wouldn't expect from a rock, right?
Yeah, it was like a metallic sound.
Yeah.
It's as if you were banging like a steel plate. Except it was a rock. Yeah, that was definitely weird.
Yeah, and he like got us to come up, and he was like talking to us, but none of us like quite understood him. But he was pretty, like, he seemed really happy that we were really interested in the view, like we were really appreciative of it. He got us to go up and watch the sunset from the shrine, which gave you an even better view of Mount Fuji.
Yeah, that was so nice. We took so many good photos at that place.
Because you didn't even need to edit them. Like, it was so beautiful on its own.
Yeah, the colours were pretty amazing.
Super, like, peaceful as well, because it was such an empty little village.
Yeah, this isn't like a tourist spot at all. Like, I doubt anybody else goes there.
But I swear it should be, because I've not seen such a good view of Mount Fuji, even like, you know, other people's photos.
Yeah, it was good, although the only bad thing was that there was obviously like an industrial dock between you and Mount Fuji. So it was a good view, but it still had like a giant crane in the way.
Yeah, which was a bit of
and
a
like
shame.
shipping containers.
Because otherwise Mount Fuji was really nicely framed by, you
yeah.
sort of had the bay curved around, and then there was sort of like, it jutted out and the forest continued onto there. So you had like the forest on one side, but on the other side you just had like buildings. But in the middle you had this beautiful like reflective water with like the aesthetic like sailboats.
Yeah, I was really happy that we found that place, just by chance.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how to get there.
Yeah, no way. It's good just to go to somewhere random, you know. It felt like we were kind of just walking around, and then we just found this gem just randomly. Yeah,
because we didn't find either of the other 2 things we came for. Like, we didn't find the cherry blossoms, we didn't really find the forest, but it was
I think it's still too early for cherry blossoms, eh? Because like, we don't really see... I mean, there's the occasional cherry blossoms around, but you don't see anything too crazy. Nothing that you would see on like an Instagram post.
Yeah, true. So we were just a bit too premature.
Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. And then yesterday we spent the day at Yogogi Park. I was invited by people from my work. We decided to have like a work get-together.
Picnic.
A little picnic. Because it was meant to be like a really good day, and it actually was super good. To the point where I like regretted wearing jeans because it was so goddamn hot.
Yeah.
The weather was perfect. And then the weather turned to shit, like, really quickly.
Yeah, it just started raining, like, relatively heavily. Except Google weather, whatever it's called, was really dumb. Or, like, your iPhone's weather. Thought it was still sunny. Like, it didn't realise it was raining heavily. Like, it still said sunny in Tokyo, and we were like, this is not sunny.
And we were, like, too stubborn, so we didn't leave straight away. We were like, no, the rain's gonna pass, and we're just sitting there. Meanwhile, we're getting absolutely drenched.
So, like, because we're taking our shoes off because we were sitting on, like, picnic blankets. And I went to, like, I stood up and walked over to turn my shoes upside down so that they wouldn't fill up with water. But I didn't realise that the rest of the picnic blanket had, like, formed a puddle. So I ended up just, like, walking through with my socks. And I have never had such, like, soaked feet in my life.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. We should have just left straight away and gone to, like, a bar or something.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, we met lots of new people.
Yeah, it was really fun. It's always good to see your workmates outside of work.
Yeah. And there's people who, like, used to work there in the past but don't anymore. Like, people from other, like, not just Somya's work, there was, like, people from other studios from within our company there as well.
Yeah, and everyone was, like, new to you, so you got to meet, like,
I met lots of
completely new people, which was good.
Very stressful meeting new people.
Yeah, man, we haven't met that many new people at once in a long time, and it was pretty exhausting, actually.
Yeah, we left, so they all went to go to an izakaya, and we were like, this is a good excuse for us to leave now, because we didn't have really enough money to go.
Yeah, to be fair, like, the main reason is that we don't have enough money. Like...
Yeah, because they were going to an izakaya that had a 3,000 yen all-you-can-eat. But we were kind of like, can we justify spending, like, 6,000 yen, almost $100?
Yeah, when in total we have 20,000 yen at the moment, in total. So to use, like, 30% of it.
Yeah. We were like, you know what, we spent a good solid 4 hours having a picnic with these people, getting to know them. It was good. Like, we forgot that in Japan their drinking laws are different, so everyone else had bought, like, beer and stuff.
Yeah,
Just have a drink.
that still feels odd, eh? Because
Yeah.
I keep thinking that they have to be like real sneaky when they're drinking their beer.
In public.
Yeah, but you don't. It's just out in the open.
Yeah. So it was good, and then we're like, alright, this is a good excuse to leave, and man, we were both exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, we went to bed at like 9 o'clock last night, because just like mentally, the strain of like, I don't know, being like enthusiastic and meeting so many new people and being able to chat with them all is a mission and a half.
Yeah. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, honestly.
It's also because we've been pretty lazy the other days.
Not lazy, we've been fully appreciating this time to relax.
Yeah.
To play games, to do what we want to do. Like, we've explored our own area a little bit more. We didn't really have enough money to go to like Kyoto or Osaka or something, so we've just been like staying within Ota.
Yeah, it's been good though.
It's been chill, it's been nice.
And yeah, when we get our first paycheck, I reckon we'll go to Kyoto.
Oh yeah. We're both so excited to get our first proper paycheck.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's so good.
Okay, well, is there anything else?
I mean, not really. We've been chilling out. We're waiting to hear if work's going back. I think I'm almost ready for it to go back, because I think I'm getting to the point where I'm getting too lazy. You know, I need to have something to do every day.
Yeah, but I feel like I feel like that too, but only because we don't have money. And as long as we keep getting paid, I'm happy to not go to work. And then when we get our paycheck on the 25th, if we still don't have work, that's made great. Then we can actually go out and do stuff.
I feel like the other reason I'm ready for work is because I was so ready. I was going to spend all of this week, I was going to stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy gaming, I enjoy streaming, but I'm so gutted because, for one thing, I realised that the game I wanted to play, Final Fantasy 15, I left the disc in New Zealand. And then we found out that you can't, like, it's really hard to stream from a PlayStation alone. We need to buy, like, an Elgato or get a computer set up. So I feel like I wouldn't mind not going back to work if I could have done that instead, because that way it's kind of like a way to keep myself busy, to feel like I'm still doing something.
Yeah, I don't think we were going... Like, I don't mind not having a computer this year, but I think if we want to, like, stream and stuff, then we're probably going to have to get one.
I'm pretty keen to get one.
Yeah.
Just because I think it gives us an alternative for playing games. Like, right now, only one of us can, like, play PlayStation at one time, and then the other one sort of has to sit at the dining table and be on the computer.
Yeah.
But if we have a computer, it will be like one person can do one thing and the other person can do another thing.
Yeah. Plus, streaming will be a second thing that we can do on top of the podcast, which is good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I want us to be able to do, like, different things. The podcast, streaming, if we can make, like, videos, that'd be great.
Yeah. Keep ourselves busy. Fun stuff to do.
Well, that's kind of it for this week then.
Yeah. So, coronavirus, Miura, and Yogogi Park. Solid week.
Yeah, coronavirus. I don't even know if that actually counts as a thing, though, but whatever. Actually, one thing is we are officially available. This podcast is officially available on YouTube. Woo-hoo. So you guys can listen on YouTube now. Just search up TN Tokyo. Unfortunately, I can't make the URL TN Tokyo because you need to have, you need to have like 1,000 subscribers or something to be able to set your own URL. So right now the URL is just something random. Yeah, so hey, listen, everybody subscribe right now. And
although
we'll have
the other thing
20.
is, you fiends, we posted our videos on YouTube, like our podcast on YouTube. The only one that got heaps of views was the one with hentai in the title. The second it was uploaded, there was like 100 views, and we were like, come on, people.
Yeah, like I obviously, like, a new channel is never going to get any views, so I was expecting to get 0 for everything, but it was a pretty big surprise to see that one video get, I think it has like 70 views now.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit.
Are you sure it's still up on YouTube?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It doesn't come up anymore when I search up TN Tokyo, so follow the link instead.
Oh, it's really hard to find it if you search up TN Tokyo because they're not going to show you something that only has one subscriber.
Oh, I found it last time when I first searched up, it came up straight away, so I don't know what was going on then. I must have just been weirdly lucky that first time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you can't find it, just go on our Twitter or Instagram and you'll be able to find the link.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for listening, everybody. Please go and subscribe to us on YouTube. Remember to comment and leave a rating on Spotify well, actually, I don't know if you can do that on Spotify, but on Apple for sure.
We've also obviously got our social media. So on Instagram, T in Tokyo, and on Twitter, T in Tokyo as our handles.
No, it's not.
Is it T
You completely got it wrong, yeah. In Instagram, it's T_in_Tokyo. And in Twitter, it's just T in Tokyo. You can tell who does all the work around
No,
here.
I was going to say, Somya's officially given me access to the Instagram, so I was posting on the story yesterday. So I'm now running out Instagram. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you don't even know the goddamn handle.
Hey.
Alright, well anyway, yeah, that's it. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.